up? I'm Mindy, your hostess, otherwise known as Knitter CNY over on Ravelry and most every other place in social media. You can find a podcast group over on Ravelry, and please feel free to join. If you have a question for me or anything, you can post it there, or you can go to the Facebook page and post it, or just PM me on Ravelry. It's been a few weeks since I've recorded. I think the last time I recorded it was an audio episode just because it was easier and quicker to get out of the way. I'm going to start with what am I wearing. You might recognize this as the February Lady Sweater. This is based off the gull pattern that is in Elizabeth Simmons' Knitting Almanac. There's a baby sweater that has this pattern in it. And I can't remember who this particular pattern is by, but it's a free pattern, pretty lace patterning here and then down the body of the sweater. And this is out of some Moda washable wool in the maize colorway. It's a discontinued yarn that I got at a dollar store years ago. So it's nice. It's a little bit heavy and the bell sleeves kind of drape on me a little bit, but it's something knitted, so I'm wearing it. Things I am working on. I have a large pile of stuff over here, so every once in a while you'll see me reach for something and try and look like it's not a complete and utter mess next to me. This is in a bag. This is a baby blanket. My cousin, who is out in Illinois, is expecting her fourth child around Mother's Day, fittingly. And I decided I wanted to crochet her baby an Afghan, or a blanket. And I'm crocheting this, which those are the colors. Those are Little Royals, and the yarn is Bernat Baby Blanket. Be good if I showed you the label right side up, wouldn't it? Bernat Baby Blanket. It's 100% polyester. This pattern is the Simple Baby Blanket that's on the Yarnspirations website. It's basically like a single crochet, chain one, single crochet, chain one, and then on the next row you crochet the chain one, you crochet into the chain one space. And there is a video that goes with this by the Mikey, I think, from the Crochet Crowd. If you YouTube Bernat Blanket, Simple Baby Blanket, Mikey Crochet Crowd, you should come up with a video, and it'll show you the entire pattern. And the pattern is free to download from Yarnspirations. So I've got this much of a skein to go. So I'm more than halfway through. Hooray! And I'm using a size N, which is a 10mm crochet. So that's that one. Next thing I am working on, this is the Plethora of Socks. This didn't get too much farther as I unwind it here. It's the beginning of a sock. The yarn is really pretty. It's Sock Ease by Lion Brand. It's a 100-gram ball. That'll make my feet the right size sock. And I am a 9.5, a women's 9.5, a guy's, I think guy's 8.5 is what I'll wear. Sometimes, depending on the shoe, European, it's probably like a 41.5 or 42, something like that. I tend to buy guys' shoes sometimes because my feet are wide, so the guys' shoes just naturally run wider, but I can make a pair of socks that'll fit me. I'm using Knitter's Pride, Nova Patina, 5-inch double point needles, and this is the Cotton Candy colorway. And the nail is from where I slammed it accidentally in the trunk this winter. The nail hasn't fallen out, it's just staying. Looks ugly, but does not hurt or anything. Then I've got a pair of other socks that are on US size 3s, which I believe is a 3.25 millimeter. And I'm a little farther down the leg of one of them. This is showing up kind of very, very blue. Well, it is kind of blue. It's kind of bluish and tealish. You can't really see the striping there, but trust me, there's striping. It's kind of pooling, actually. And I'm using leftover sock yarn mill ends that I bought, that they came 2 fingering weight together in one ball. So instead of separating the balls, I was like, to heck with it, I'll make heavier weight socks. And I'm using 2 circular needles. I think one's a Susan Bates and the other one's a Knitter's Pride Nova Patina. And I think one I got through Amazon, the other one at Joann's or whatever. So, those are getting a little bit of love. Next thing, also socks. You're not surprised, are you? This is Patents Croy in the Bramble Stripe colorway. This is purple. This is showing it bluer than it actually is. This is a lime green, a darker foresty green, a darker green, and then a purple, gray, lavender gray. And then it's going back into that weird yellow color again. I'm doing a 2x2 rib. That means knit 2, purl 2 around to get that stretchy cuff. And I'm using a 2.5 millimeter needle, which translates to a US size 1.5, and I'm using Knitter's Pride carbons and a magic looping. So that's the other pair of socks. And the last pair of socks, I think. This is the Center of Attention socks, but with my spin on it because I didn't want to do the cables. It's a toe-up sock that was a knit-along for Skacel and knitpearlhunter.com a couple of years ago. You can just Google knitpearlhunter.com, look at the KALs, and you're looking for the Center of Attention socks. The pattern's free and there's videos to go along with it to explain anything that you might have questions on, like the short row heel. This is with reinforcing thread. The yarn is Skacel Trekking XXL in the Suzanne colorway, which is an ovarian cancer awareness colorway, that teal color. Showing up a little bit more blue than it actually is. It's sort of teal, so that's what's going on with that. And I am past the heel on the second one. Woohoo! And I'm using an Addi Turbo Sock Rocket. I believe it's 2.25, might be 2.5. I can't remember. I can't remember what it is, and somewhere on here is written what it is, but I'm not going to pull it out to see. And I'm starting the 2x2 ribbing. So that's been interesting. And that's living in a bag that I bought one time, I think, from somebody who was selling at a yarn convention or something that I went to. I was wrong. There's another pair of socks. I'm sorry. I'm addicted. It's not my fault. They make pretty sock yarn, and people know me. This is yarn. This is yarn I've had for a while. This is Socks That Rock. I believe it's something with a farmer. It's got farmer in the name of colorway. But I'm doing a toe-up sock, and this is on, I believe, Addi Sock Rockets. Yeah, they look like Addi cords. I have this much of a toe done. I think it's a 2.5 needle, and they're a teeny tiny 12-inch circular. which is kind of a pain when you're trying to do a toe. But it turned out pretty good. I'm just doing the toe that has a lifted increase on each corner. So I think I started out with 20, doing Jenny's Magic Cast On, Betty Boop's Magic Cast On, somebody's Magic Cast On, and Cat Board Eye, or Cat Boardy, however you want to say her name, did a video like 6 years ago on YouTube. It's fuzzy, but it holds up because she has 2 needles, and she says, I teach things and I tell stories. And whenever I need to know how to do that cast on, so it gives me basically a toe where you can't even tell where you started, and it's lovely and pretty on the back. Jenny's Magic Cast On, I think. It was first published in Knitty, but Cat Board Eye's video is amazing. She tells a story. They're sing-songy voices. You may laugh, but you will know how to do it, how to do the cast on properly. The sweater that I was knitting out of this book, Patton's Wonderwool True Color Wool True Colors, is sort of on hiatus, and we'll come to why in a little while, but I wanted to find the pattern for you so that you can see it in case you missed it last time. The book's on Ravelry, but this actual pattern is not. This is called the In Reverse Cardigan. The purl side faces out, there's an I-cord edging at the top, and there's I-cord down here. I think the sleeves just roll back, but Patton's does pretty good with sizes on their new stuff. Extra small to big girl size, so to speak. And then the yarn I'm using is Isaac Mizrahi Skyscraper in the Hearst colorway. These are Millens that I bought, but you can buy this, I believe it's exclusively at Michael's, and it is available online at premieryarns.com, because Premier Yarns does that particular line for him. And it looks like this. There's I-cord here, I-cord there, but this side will face out. I think I talked about basically what I did last time, but that'll be how it sits. I'm using the needles for something else, or at least I will be starting that quickly. What else have I got? A million projects, you say. Why does she have a million projects? Because that's the kind of place I was in. I have a million projects. This is an infinity scarf for a friend of mine. This is in Red Heart Boutique Swanky. There's sequins in it. It's pretty. I picked the yarn, but it is a really nice thing. And that is in a Tommy Hilfiger bag. This is the yard sale thing I found a few years ago. And it's so, I don't know what it is, but it was $2. And then I have another bag that I bought on, I have 2 bags that I bought on sale. One is this one, Knitting is My Cardio. These were on sale at Michael's. They were looking to get rid of them. My goddaughter and I had a day out on Saturday, and she wanted me to make a scarf for her. So I said, well, I happen to know there's a store with some yarn, so we went there. And this is Martha Stewart Glitter Eyelash. And this is teal and gold. I was going to do half of it as teal and half as blue. And she said to me, well, why can't you make one end gold, this in the middle, and the other end gold? 4-year-old, and she's designing already, which I thought was very cool. So I've made that over the last week or so. It's a free pattern that's on lionbrand.com. Lion Brand does Martha Stewart yarns, has pattern support, but this was 99 cents a skein, and I only used 2 skeins. It's not as bad as it looks. It looks like Christmas tinsel, but it's really not that bad. Then I have some Red Heart Boutique sachet, which is orange and blue. Did I mention I live near Syracuse? I live near Syracuse. Syracuse University has made it to the Sweet 16. They will play tomorrow night, I believe. It's 9:45. Who they're playing, I have no idea. I don't really follow basketball that closely, but I have this yarn, and it'll go to somebody. I don't know who yet. Somebody will say, oh, that's a really cool scarf, and I'll be like, here. It looks like I should be going at a luau. But at sporting events, people still wear such things. And I have, a tiny bit left. I think this makes a 60-inch scarf. It was a six stitch repeat. Wow. And then I'm working on a dishcloth, and the needle came out of one side, but that's not a big deal because I can put it back in. These are Hobby Lobby traveling needles, and they're wood. They're short. I think they're 7 inches long. It's a US size 7. It's a 4.5 millimeter. And they're just short little needles. They're perfect for dishcloths. I just have to actually get the dishcloth done. Now, what's in the other bag? What's in the bag? This is Yarn is My Therapy. So this is the bag from Wince. The things I've bought will come. I mentioned Ollie's. That's a closeout store that's near me, a discount store. They bought a whole bunch of Lion Brand yarn. I'm going to be probably going back this weekend to look because they have Heartland and Heartland Thick and Quick, supposedly, which I haven't seen yet, probably in the next shipment of trucks. I bought Homespun in the Petunia Stripes colorway. This is showing up as all blue. This is blue and purple. There's purple and blue. This is the Prairie colorway. It's mostly a greenish brown with hints of blue and orange. I bought six skeins of this, 6 skeins of this, and that will make me a sweater. I'm looking to make the Bejeweled cardigan that is on their website. Goes up to my size, so I'm good with that. And you use size 10 needles, which I believe is an 8.0 millimeter needle, and that's why the Isaac Mizrahi sweater doesn't have the circular needle in it anymore, because I'm casting on with the Petunia Stripes colorway, and I'm going to make a lovely sweater. And you may note the price is $2.99 US. That's right. I only need 6 skeins of this to make a sweater, so it's an $18 sweater. $18. Now I do realize it's 100% acrylic, but I'm okay with that because I have another sweater that's made out of homespun that's washed and dried in, all kinds of conditions over the last 10 years. It's held up. It's sort of matted, crunchy, but it kept the cables that are in the pullover in the front. So I'm okay with that. And then I bought a couple other skeins. I bought wisteria, because wisteria blooms in May. I always remember that. And there's 3 skeins of this that I bought because I want to make a shawl out of this. It makes a lot of churches and synagogues and mosques, civic organizations make prayer shawls or shawls for, older people or nursing mothers, whatever. And this stuff is great because it washes and dries. It is made in the United States as well, which is kind of nice. And then the last thing I have from Ollie's, also $2.99, is homespun Thick and Quick. Now the regular homespun is a 5, which is a bulky. That little yarn thing with the 5 in it, that tells you it's bulky. This is super bulky. This is a US size. This is a US 6 on the yarnstandards.com. So it's a thicker version of Thick and Quick. You can kind of see that there. Let's see if I can find an end. There we go. I'll try and do this so you're not completely dizzy. Basically, so the top would be the regular homespun, the bottom would be the homespun Thick and Quick. And you can see indeed the bottom one, the Thick and Quick, is a larger, fatter yarn. That's also made in the US. It's also, it's not 100% acrylic. It's 88 acrylic, 12% polyester. The regular homespun is 98% acrylic, 2% other fiber. It's magic. That's what it is. So that's what I've been knitting. Of course, there's a bunch of other projects floating in around here. There's always a cardigan or two that are tucked away as like, oh yeah, I'm going to work on that. But for right now, these are the main projects I'm working on. I did buy a book. It's running long for this podcast, so I am going to review that next time. It's The Best of Knit Scene. That was at Ollie's too, and I think it was $5.99, $6.99, something like that, when it was originally $20. So that's what I'm knitting and crocheting. So if you could, I'm going to open a thread called What Are You Working On? If you could put a link to one project or put a picture of your project that you're working on now, or if you want to put in yarn you've bought, anything. As long as there's a post in that thread, what I'll do is I'll probably record in 2 weeks again, and I will pick a name or pick a number out of that post, randomly pick a number, and then I will let you know you will win a pattern of your choice as a Ravelry download, value up to $7 US. So I'll let you know, and you can tell me what one you want to download or whatever, and then I'll gift it to you. So that's an incentive for you to, and you have to be a member of the group as well. So join the podcast group, go post in the thread of this is what I'm working on, or this is yarn I've bought, just so we can get a little chatter over there and see what's going on. I hope you guys have a great couple of weeks. If you're celebrating Easter, happy Easter. If you're celebrating Passover, happy Passover. Whatever you're celebrating, spring solstice. The fact the kids are going back to school after spring break. I know there's plenty of parents out there going, hooray! So have a great couple of weeks, guys, and go craft something. It's good for you.